Good morning, dear students. So, I feel that you all must be through your studies. As we have completed a number of chapters, so from this week onwards, we will be starting the revision work. So, you will see that we will start from the first chapter, that is from Hornbill, the portrait of a lady. Now, though we have already studied this chapter, we will go through it once again, and it is being observed that not all the children, all the students are completing their assignments or even watching the video. So I would request everybody, when you go through it, you will find a PDF there, and you will see that there are a number of questions. Please record those questions. You can take the help of the answers also, and you will write it in your registers. Please keep the registers safely, because whenever the school reopens, we will take the registers for correction. So please take it seriously, and the assignments that are given should be completed on time in order to avoid any kind of hassle. All right. This week onwards, as I said, that we are starting with the first chapter of Flamingo. Similarly, we'll go through all the chapters once again for your perusal, and in this way you will be able to revise it once again. Okay. So follow the video and follow the PDF given in this. Okay. Thank you. So dear students, we are going to start with the chapter, The Portrait of a Lady. You can see this is the picture of the author, Khushwant Singh. He was the Indian author. Now let us know about his childhood and early life. Khushwant Singh was born in Hadali, Punjab, which is now a part of Pakistan. His father was Sobha Singh. His father was one of the most prominent builders of his times and used to work in Lutyens, Delhi. Singh received his education at modern school in Delhi. He also received his higher education from Government College in Lahore, and eventually studied at St. Stephen's College in New Delhi and King's College in London. The Portrait of a Lady is part of an autobiography by Khushwant Singh. In this story, the author draws a pen portrait of his grandmother. He beautifully unfolds their relationship and how it undergoes several changes. In other words, the story is a loving tribute from a grandson to his grandmother. So now I am going to discuss the summary of the Portrait of a Lady. Since we have already read this, we will just go through the summary of the chapter. The chapter, The Portrait of a Lady, is the story of the author and his grandmother. I hope you all know what is a portrait. It is a picture. And this picture is painted not by the artist using the paints. Rather, it is a pen portrait. Therefore, it is a portrait which has been sketched with the help of a pen, that is, by writing about a lady. And who is this lady? She is the grandmother of the author. Therefore, this is the story of the author and his grandmother. The grandmother was an old woman with a wrinkled face. The author had always seen her like this. So, when the author had grown up to 2 years, or when he had grown up to the stage after he being a toddler, when he could remember things as a child. He remembered his old grandmother who had the wrinkled face, because he had never seen his grandmother a very young woman. You also must be able to remember your grandmothers that you must have seen, who would have been a kind of a very old lady with a wrinkled face, with a bent back, and still looking very loving and very beautiful. Similarly, the author also finds his grandmother a very pleasant and a very, very beautiful lady. See how he admires in this story. He admires his grandmother and loves her very much. The author had always seen her like this for the past 20 years. She appeared to be so old that he could not imagine her being young and pretty. Someone who had a husband. She was short, fat, and slightly bent. So, in these lines, the author wants to say that he could never imagine, it was beyond imagination for the author to even think that his grandmother would have been young and pretty, or who would have been married and having a husband and a family, and she was short and fat and slightly bent. The author had seen his grandfather's portrait, an old man with a turban and a long white beard covering his chest. To the author, his grandfather did not seem like a man who could have a wife and children, but someone who could have lots of grandchildren. His grandmother used to move around the house in spotless white, with her one hand resting on her waist and her other hand counting the beads of her rosary. In the initial days, the author and his grandmother had a good relationship. She used to wake him up and get him ready for school. She used to pack the things required by him for the day and walked him to school every day. She used to visit the temple that was attached to the school. She had a routine of reading the scriptures. The author, along with other children, sat on the veranda singing alphabets and morning prayers. So you can understand what was the routine of the grandmother. And Khushwant Singh, being very observant as a child, has narrated in the story or rather in this brief account about his grandmother, that how she was very caring and loving when his parents had moved to the city and he was staying with his grandmother in the village. In the initial days when he was a young child, and was staying with his grandmother in the village. So there, what was the work that grandmother used to do? She was quite busy with the child. She used to take care of the grandson and as well as keep her routine also. She and the grandson had a very good relationship, and this is what she used to do. She used to pack the things, take her grandson to the school, and after leaving him at the school, she used to go to the temple which was just beside the school. And she used to read scriptures. She used to read or tell the beads of rosary, and she used to take care and take him back to the school again. Soon the parents of the author went to the city to settle in and called them. As they reached the city, his relationship with his grandmother took a turn. Though they shared the room, their bond grew apart. He started going to an English medium school. She no longer accompanied him to his school, and there were no longer stray dogs who roamed around them while walking back home. She, however, used to ask him about his day and what he had learned. She did not understand anything, as everything was in another language which she could not understand. She did not approve of the new syllabus that he was studying because she thought that they did not teach him about God and the scriptures. They saw less of each other. So, this was the stage, the second phase of their relationship, when the author was taken to the city along with his grandmother, where he had to stay with his parents, and where the grandmother was annoyed about the studies that her grandson was uh, acquiring from the schools in the city. She did not like the routine there. She was feeling very uh, lonely because she did not accompany her grandson to the school as he used to go by bus, and she could not even go to the temple. There were no stray dogs whom she could feed, and she even felt helpless when she was not able to help her grandson in his studies. So, after this second phase comes the third phase, when he had to move to university, or when he had to go abroad. So, in this way, we can see that the author has described the various phases of his relationship with his grandmother. They both used to come back home together with stray dogs roaming around them, as his grandmother would carry the stale chapatis to feed them. As the days passed, he grew older and soon went to the university. He had his own room, and this made their relationship sour. She stopped talking to everyone and spent her whole day sitting at her spinning wheel, reciting prayers and moving beads of rosary with one hand. So, the author in these lines has told that when he had grown up, his grandmother did not have to take care of him anymore, unlike his childhood days when she used to be very close to him and she used to do all his work personally. Therefore, now she had a different routine. She stopped talking to everyone, that is, she kept herself aloof from others, and she used to spend her days spinning at the spinning wheel and reciting prayers by moving the beads of the rosary. Rosary, I told you earlier that it is the string of beads on which one can count the number of chantings of the prayers. And you can see in the lines there where the author has said that their relationship had become sour. Sour here means that which had become a kind of, there was no communication between him and his grandmother. And they used to even stay separately in the same house. They did not even see each other because the author was very busy with his higher studies. However, she loved feeding sparrows in the veranda at dawn, and at the same time in her routine she also had this kind of a knack for, or a kind of habit of feeding sparrows at dawn in the morning. Breaking bread into pieces and feeding it to the birds was her daily routine. So you can see all this was the routine of the grandmother. The birds would sit on her legs, her head, some even on the shoulders. Soon the author decided to go abroad for further studies. She came to the railway station to leave him off. She was not sentimental, continuously recited her prayers, her mind lost in the prayers, and she kissed him on the forehead. So the author now had decided to go abroad to the foreign country for studying or acquiring higher studies. That is, probably he went to London to study further. And at that time he has described the feelings of his grandmother. He says that his grandmother was quite neutral. She was stoic. She was neither very happy nor very sad, and she just came, but still she loved her grandson. Therefore, she came to the station at least to see him off, and she kissed him on the forehead to express her love. After 5 years, as he returned home, she was there, came to pick him up at the station, was still the same as she had been 5 years ago. She clasped him within her arms and did not say a word. She still used to feed her sparrows. So even when Khushwant Singh had come back after 5 years of his studies, she did go to meet him at the station and pick him up from there, but she used to follow her own routine, and she did express her love also at that time. One day she did not recite her prayers, but instead collected the women of the neighborhood, got a drum and started singing. So, how did she express her happiness when Khushwant Singh had returned? She was so happy that she just collected the women of her neighborhood, and she got a drum and she sang, which caused an exertion on her body, and the next morning she was ill with mild fever. The doctor said that there was nothing to worry, but she was sure that her end was near. So children, as you know, that as the grandson grows and he takes the stage of adulthood, when he is growing, similarly on the other hand, grandmother was also aging, and she understood that it was her end was very near, though the doctor had asked them not to worry about her fever or illness. But when the grandmother had realized that her end was near, she did not want to waste her time talking to anyone in the family anymore, but spend her last hours in reciting her prayers laying on the bed. Now, what do you understand about the character of the grandmother? Here, from these lines, you can understand how the author admired his grandmother, who was so religious that she felt that it was better to pray to God even when she was on her deathbed. She died, and so her body lay on the bed, lifeless, as they prepared for her funeral. They saw all the sparrows sitting in the veranda around her, mourning her death. So this is something, a peculiar phenomena. As they prepared for her funeral, they saw all the sparrows sitting in the veranda around her, mourning her death. So in these lines, the author has described the peculiar nature of the birds also, that how they expressed their sorrow on the death of his grandmother, because they were so lovingly fed by the grandmother. The sparrows were very close to the grandmother. When she died, and when her dead body was being prepared for the funeral, all the sparrows were sitting around in the veranda expressing their sorrow. In this way, we can see how even the birds and animals know to express their love and sorrow. Therefore, now with this, we come to the end of the summary of the story. I will be giving you some question answers in this video or in this assignment. So you can find it as an assignment, and complete your work. So you can see that how there were changes in the relationship between the grandmother and the grandson, that is the author. The author has described that what is the requirement or what is the most important thing that the grandparents require. Is it the physical and material things around them? Are they happy with the physical support? No, they require the emotional support. That is very, very important. So even though the author was a grown up boy, but she used to always express her love. The grandmothers are very loving and caring. Even though the child or the grandson or granddaughter grows up into an adult, she always loves them as a little child. She also knows what is right, what is good and bad for her grandson. Now, in this autobiography, also, you have come to know that how the author was also very passionate about his grandmother and how he loved her so much. Though their relationship was a little bit estranged from the initial days to the final days, or in the 3 stages, as you have seen, the author has described that there were 3 stages of the relationship where his grandmother had followed her routine as well as taken care of the author. In her last days also, she was not very comfortable by the thought that she had to talk to the people in the family. Rather, she was very quiet, silent, and serene. She knew that she was about to die, and therefore she spent all her time in reciting the prayers. Now you can see how the author has glorified his grandmother's qualities. I hope you all also must be having your grandmothers. You must have seen them. Have you observed them carefully? You can also write a poem or a narration about, or your experience about your grandmother or grandfather. If you have observed them, I think you will be able to do so. So next we will talk about the question answers and the character sketch. Thank you.